Bruce, you must have something really good too.
Of course I do. It's Bruce Danielson, and I guess I'm here to entertain you too.
All right. 4 o'clock, so let's begin today's meeting. Welcome to you all.
Is there a red light on top blinking?
I don't think it's not. We're at zeros.
Push it up one.
Red
There you
light.
go.
Got it. Okay.
Thank
There
you.
we go. All right. Welcome to you all. Thank you for being here today for the Wednesday, May 15th meeting of the Sioux Falls Parks and Recreation Board. Special thanks to all of the staff who lined up our tour prior to this. Very interesting with the saw demonstration and the tour of the Levitt. So thank you for making that happen. Very much appreciated. And with that, let's begin with the roll call and determination form, please, Rita.
Ray Lindquist,
Yes.
Jim Stavenger,
Yes.
Ann Noctigal,
Yes.
Mark Steinborn,
Yes.
Todd Sundley,
Yes.
Patty Abdallah,
Yes.
Mike Begeman. Did you have a quorum?
Okay, good. And you have received the minutes from the April 17th, 2019 meeting of the Parks and Rec Board. Are there any corrections or additions to those minutes? And if not, is there a motion to approve those? And-
Motion to approve?
Second.
All right, and a roll call vote on that, please, Rita.
Lindquist,
Yes.
Stavenger,
Yes.
Noctigal,
Yes.
Steinborn,
Yes.
Sundley,
Yes.
Abdallah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, and this is the point in our meeting at which we invite public comment. Unless you are here for a specific agenda item, then we ask that you just wait until that point of the agenda to make your comments. But I see we do have one guest with us today, so if you just introduce yourself and what you're here to speak towards.
I'm Larry Plucker, and I'm the current president of the Sioux Falls Pickleball Club.
Okay, welcome, Larry, thank you. All right, report of the standing committees, marketing and public needs. We did not meet. We were rescheduled and we did not meet. Park system planning and development, we did meet. And in addition to the agenda item, we discussed the new mission statement of the Parks and Rec Department. Brief discussion regarding the Elmwood Clubhouse, implementing a break at the Midco Aquatic Center during the busy times, and gave some attention to the Falls Park Master Plan, discussed the new downtown dog park, and also the Arboreta Master Plan, and the downtown skate park, and some improvements potentially to Harmon Field. So, then partnerships and recreation.
We did meet and we talked about those same items that you just outlined.
Okay, all right, good. No unfinished business, so we will move on to our one new business agenda item, which is the Sioux Falls Pickleball Club gifting agreement. So Sky, and we'll hear from him.
Thank you. In front of you guys tonight, you have the gifting agreement with the Sioux Falls Pickleball Club. They have raised some funds for the striping of 3 additional pickleball courts on the existing basketball court at Riverdale Park. And they have also hired an approved contractor. So the city's acceptance of the gift is conditioned upon the following: that the Sioux Falls Pickleball Club will submit a court layout for approval, coordinate necessary work to be completed, which minimizes the disruption of the basketball court. They also agree that primary use is basketball, except during scheduled pickleball tournaments. They are also to ensure that the contractor performing the work is covered by the appropriate levels of workers' comp and commercial liability insurance that's set forth in an Executive Order 98-10, and that the proof of insurance will be submitted and approved by the city's risk manager prior to the start of construction. And with that, staff does recommend approval. Larry Plucker with the Sioux Falls Pickleball Club is here to answer any questions that the board may have.
Any questions for Sky or for Larry? Larry, do you have any comments that you want to make?
No, if you all have what Sky has, it's pretty self-explanatory.
Larry, are there any other courts in town, or are these?
No.
Okay.
There aren't any other outdoor courts, but there are several places to play indoor.
And how has the sport grown? I feel like I hear about it quite a bit.
Yeah, pickleball is the fastest growing sport in the country and has been for about the last 10 or 12 years. You've heard this spiel already. And our club membership is up to about 240 people, but we also know that there's probably twice that many people that play that aren't club members. So we're trying to encourage everybody to join so we can go back to the city and justify the need for more outdoor courts or more playing time at Terry Redlin or even Morningside.
Do you guys run out of space with the regular league?
Well, we have a ladder league at Terry Redlin in the wintertime, and there's 6 courts, and we use all of them on Mondays and Wednesdays. And then what that does is takes away time for the open play. And I think it's safe to say that during 5 days a week at Terry Redlin, there's always probably 6 to 12 people waiting to play while the other courts are filled up. Today out at Riverdale, again, all 6 courts were filled, and again, probably 20 people waiting to play. And we have a system in place for the rotation to make sure everybody gets enough playing time. But these 3 additional courts will alleviate that issue. We'll have 3 temporary courts in our box and use them as needed, but at the same time knowing that basketball has a priority.
Do you guys bring portable nets in on those lined areas? On the courts?
That's our intent, yep.
I'd just like to acknowledge Larry and the good work he's done and working closely with our staff on representing the pickleball club and their needs, and working, been really reasonable to work with, very proactive and trying to move forward with the sport of pickleball and trying to grow it, but also realizing that, like I would say, just being reasonable about the expectations and bringing dollars to the table, like with this project, and seeking out creative ideas to provide more opportunities for the growing sport that he talked about. So appreciate that, Larry.
You're welcome. Got it?
All right, thank you. It's my understanding this will have to go to city council for their consent agenda. Okay, that's right. So we are looking for today a motion to recommend approval.
Move to recommend approval.
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Lindquist,
Yes.
Stavinger,
Yes.
Noctigal, Yes.
Yes.
Langborg, Sudley,
Yes.
Abdallah.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you all. On to Don.
Yes, thank you. We have some exciting news that we received late last night from Justin Arlt, our general manager at our city golf courses. As you probably know, that he's been working with Orange Theory and some of the other service providers in the community to find out how they can partner together with the golf courses, and whether it be marketing or sponsorships or discounted rates at the courses and at the various fitness facilities across the city. And he shared with us last night that they do have two signed agreements. One is for continued sponsorship with Avera on our city courses, with range balls, drinking fountains, and tee markers and those kinds of things, and continuing on with that relationship, which is about a $30,000 revenue stream for our city courses. But also did mention that they worked on a partnership on golf discounts for our season pass holders at the city courses, and then also green fee discounts for the employees in the fitness center memberships that Avera has. And so the way it's been structured is that all Sioux Falls Golf season pass holders will receive a 15% off of Avera's monthly wellness center rates and access to both of Avera's facilities. And then also all Avera employees and Avera McKenna Fitness Center members will receive 15% off their green fee rates. And so it's a great win-win for both organizations. A lot of people are in golf, they're into fitness, and vice versa. The other thing it does is that they would also be the title sponsor of all of our Sioux Falls youth golf programs. And then as part of this agreement, Avera agrees to pay Sioux Falls Golf $20,000 for this season in May, and then they'll reevaluate that partnership in November to see how it went, how much use, how much revenue was generated, both by the city and with Avera and their fitness memberships. And then obviously as part of that, they're also, as Sioux Falls Golf markets, they'll include Avera's advertisements in their publications and other media outlets, and then also Avera will do the same for Sioux Falls Golf. So I'll give you more detail, but I just thought it was kind of a cool thing to announce at the board meeting, and we'll be able to share that in more detail. But look for more information about that coming out. Also wanted to share some other updates. I know Kelby's got some updates for us on both EAB and flood recovery, and just ask if you can kind of give the board an update of where we're at.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So starting with our EAB response, we have about a week and a half left of tree removals before we stop removing between Memorial Day and Labor Day. The city ordinance that we put in place last year prohibits the movement of ash wood between Memorial Day and Labor Day within the city of Sioux Falls. Right now, in our removal areas of over 2,125 trees marked for removal, we have 461 of them down. 156 of those have been removed by city crews. Those were broken up into 10 different lots that were bid on. One of the lots is completely done, and it's lot 8, which doesn't, no consequence. It's all kind of in that same area where we were today. So we continue to make strides getting trees down. We'll transition to stump removals here after Memorial Day, where we can't cut and move anymore. Still have maintained our other forestry programs. Project Trim is wrapping up for the first section that we're doing here in 2019. We'll pick it up again in the fall as well. On the 3rd of June, Davy Tree Company will be in town, and they will kick off our street tree inventory. And they plan to be in town completing that street tree inventory by Labor Day. Timing actually works out perfectly. That way we won't be removing trees that they had just inventoried for us. And will get us some really good information for identifying trees for removal in 2020. So transitioning into flood cleanup, parks are starting to look a whole lot more like themselves. There's still a lot of damage out there to infrastructure. A lot of it is to electrical components. So restrooms from Legacy Park, Yankton Trail, Tomar, Spencer, Cherry Rock, Rotary, those restrooms are all closed, not because we don't have water, but because we don't have power. We're putting together a substantial contract that's going to be bid out here in the next couple of weeks, but we don't anticipate all of that electrical work being done until likely the end of summer. We do have porta potties in place, so there are facilities available. It's just not the typical park restroom that's available. We are currently working on electric repairs at Yankton Trail to make sure that we've got facilities in place for Jazz Fest. But the balance of the park then is within this other project. So field lighting for high school soccer is anticipated to be back online right as that high school soccer season starts. Met with FEMA and did a tour on Monday. They were very helpful in going through the process, and essentially what they were in town doing was doing an assessment of our preliminary damage assessment to transition into a project for them in the event we do get a declaration. But people around the table seem to think that's a pretty good bet.
Thanks, Kelby.
Yep.
Appreciate it. Mike, do you want to talk about the viewing platforms, where we're at with those?
Yep. I actually wish we'd have driven by there quickly on our way back here to the city center, but the contractor's been working out there. It's been fairly wet, obviously, this spring, but the design of those platforms involved a kind of a concrete wall that went from the bedrock up, and then some sidewalk on the inside, and that went back into the park sidewalks. And the contractor has formed and poured the walls. And if you get a chance to go down and look at it, you can see it pretty well from the bridge that goes over the river. It's really intricate work because that bedrock's obviously very irregular in shape. So they actually had to cut out the forms to match the bedrock. And I'm not sure he knew what he was getting into when he bid it, because it's been pretty time consuming. But it's turned out really great. So if you get a chance to go look at it, I encourage you to go by and check it out because the craftsmanship's pretty good. I would say later this week they'll be backfilling behind those walls. And they'll start pouring the sidewalk and then doing the grading and shaping. Once that's all complete, I'd say in about a week and a half, 2 weeks, pending weather, they'll come back in and install all the railing that railing's being manufactured off-site, and they'll just come in and weld it down to the curb that's there now. So completion for that project is June 7th, and as long as weather holds, I think we'll meet that deadline.
Thanks, Mike.
So you can go check that out, and you can go have ice cream because Falls Overlook is open, so. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd just like to acknowledge Mike for all of his work on Lovett. You can see the work that was done out there is pretty incredible, and he's really.
Absolutely. It's really spectacular.
Yeah, I don't wanna call it babysitting, but it's, a daily conversation and daily, grind, working with all the contractors, working with Nancy, working with, all the different nuances that come up on a project of that size and scope, and being our
Almost
first.
home.
What's that?
So we're almost home.
Almost home, and then also thanks to Jackie as well. Jackie, well, maybe not so much on the construction side, but has been a great liaison for Lovett and working with them on their programming and their announcements and just logistics, and sits in on our bi-weekly meetings and helps to facilitate our relationship with Lovett and the management agreement that we have between them and us, and also just acknowledge Karen and all her work getting to that point and answering questions about, okay, we're reading it this way, is that the way you read it, and are we interpreting this contract correctly? And so it's always been a great resource for us too. And while everybody's had a hand in it, those folks have had a heavy lift, and we're almost able to celebrate it. So, Tori, you're up next. Talk a little bit about Elmwood parking lot. And
yeah, thanks, Don. Few construction updates. Start off with Elmwood parking lot. We got the final paving in yesterday. So all the paving is done. We will be doing some fine grading and seeding around the lot here in the next couple days, but we're doing that over live traffic. The one thing we'll have left is the big rock that we're shipping from Minnesota to be the kind of the flagstone and to show the Elmwood Golf Course sign and let everybody know that it is a golf course. It's coming on a truck here in the next few days. We're hoping in the next 2 weeks that they'll have that median in with the sign up and lit up and done. So that'll kind of wrap up the Elmwood project. Another construction update over at Rotary Park. If you've been driving to the east side on 26th Street, you've probably seen that mess every now and again. We are starting to get the contractors back in after the flood. They've been cleaning up. We didn't have a lot of damage there. Then within the last few days, they've got the playground installed with the rubber surfacing. They got the picnic shelter done. We're waiting on temperature and humidity for the flooring to go in the restroom. But after that comes in, the restroom should be done. We're hoping to open Rotary Park, the new side up on the west side, in the next 2 weeks. Might be pushing it, but that should happen. The one thing the one piece of damage that we had there were the light poles for the parking lot. All those got wiped out with ice chunks. They're being reordered. They're under warranty with the contract, but that's a 6 to 8 week lead time. So. It might be a little dark down there, but that's really the only thing substantial damage that we had. A couple other projects, Farm Field over by Yankton Trail, kind of that practice area with the old Yankton Trail Bridge. If you've been by there in the last couple days, it's all tilled up. We'll be doing some fine grading and then installing irrigation. That's kind of a premier practice facility for us. Heavily used, so that irrigation will be going in. We're looking to complete that project by the first part of June, so it'll be a kind of a quick hitter. A couple more that will be coming up here in June just to keep an eye on. Our playground replacement program will be in McKinnon, Morningside, and Upper Terrace. Oh, and Sertoma, one structure in Sertoma, but we'll be in those 4 locations. Removals will start here in the next week or two with our playground installer coming in first part of June. And then if you're familiar with Lion Centennial Park on Southeastern Avenue, we'll be replacing all the internal trails there. If you've been through the asphalt trails, we do get a lot of water in Lion Centennial. water sits on the asphalt. It's in pretty bad shape. I will be replacing all those internal trails with concrete. And that project should start in the first part of June and last for about a month and a half. But that'll replace a really popular kind of cut through and little walking loop for the neighborhood. So those are a few updates I had. Thanks.
Thanks, Tori. Sky, 2 weeks away from pool season, right? You're gonna open some pools?
Yeah, what a great day to talk about outdoor the summer. You know, it's 80 degrees outside right now. So as Don mentioned, outdoor pools are going to open on May 31st, weather depending. Kelby and his crew have been last week, 2 weeks, you know, doing some preseason operations, getting the pools ready to go. Gene's been doing a really good job of getting staff lined up for the facilities. And if anybody knows of anybody looking for a job, we still have a few positions to fill, but looking forward to another great summer here in Sioux Falls. So.
Thanks, guys.
Yep.
That's our report for today.
All right, thank you, everyone. So along with talking about the Levitt Show, make sure you all have marked down the ribbon cutting for June 5th at 4:30. So I hope to see you all at that. Any additional questions for Don or any of the staff? Okay. If not, we have not had any additional items added to the agenda after the deadline. No communications to the board have been received. Any open board discussion? And if not, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.